Well, good morning. Um, the word I'll stop saying. Anyway, this is gonna be, I believe, part 3 or 4 to the family reunion in Atwater, California in 1984. I am not even gonna even know to say the month because I don't remember when it was. I just know it was in the summer sometime, either in June or July. It doesn't really matter. It was in 1984. But anyway, so Tony and I drove to Phelan we were supposed to pick up Debbie and Sean. We had rented a car for the days that we were going to be up there. I think we were there for like 3 days. I don't remember what day it started. It could have been like on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we left on Monday, something like that. And so anyway, we picked up Sean. Debbie didn't want to go for whatever reason, and which was fine with me. I just actually wanted the trip to be Tony and I. We would have been there way before we ever got there. But maybe, it was just timing, I suppose, and perfect timing. There was so we drove up to Atwater, California from Phelan. I don't remember how long it took, maybe 5 hours. To me, it seemed like eternity because I just wanted to get there because I wanted to meet them. I had already met my future father-in-law, Ollie, and loved him. Okay, my neck. And so we're making the drive, and I think that's all I really pretty much talked about. I wanted to know about them from Tony. And I don't think Tony ever really elaborated on them. He just said, you know what, you're going to find out for yourself. He did say to me the Waltman family was definitely opposite from Rose's side of the family. He goes, and you will probably like them a whole lot, is how he put it. But he didn't tell me anything about him. He goes, pretty much they're like Dad. You met Dad. We spent the whole entire day with Dad. Well, I'm not going to say the whole day. It wasn't the whole day. It was a good, probably part of the day. Like, 2 to 4 hours we spent with him, something like that. And then we packed and got ready. We rented the car to go make our way up there. Like I said, if we didn't have to stop in Phelan to go get Debbie and Sean, which we did not pick up Debbie because she decided to go, we would have left early and went up there. But like I said, timing is everything, and it was perfect timing when we did reach Atwater. So, like I said, it felt like an eternity to get there for me because I was excited and I never been up there before. So I did have an uncle up there, an uncle and aunt and cousins. We did see them on the way back. We did stop for maybe an hour or so. And but that was, like 3-4 days later. But anyway, so we get to the property. How Tony remembered how to get to his grandma's property as an adult is beyond me. He just remembered how to get there. And we had the phone number in case we needed to stop and call in case Tony forgot, but he remembered exactly how to get to the property. And he had told me about, like, they're off this dirt road. I believe it was a dirt road. And off to the right, how we came into the property, we came whatever street, and there was a dirt road here, I believe. And then to the right, you made a right the way we came in, and which was where the properties were, and the street. I don't remember the name of the street. I would like to say, it was called Waltman Street. I don't know. But there is a sign. I remember a sign, and Tony had told me about that. There was a big sign, at least it looked big to me, saying something like, this is private property, Waltman property, whatever it said something like that. I don't remember everything what it said, but it did say something to the lines that private property, trespassers, you can't trespass on the property. If you do, they can prosecute, arrest you or whatever for trespassing if they wanted to. Something like that. And I was like, really? So there was a story behind that. I was told about that. I don't remember the details, so I don't even want to touch on it. I think, though, it had to do with some people that lived up the street, up the road there, and the families had gotten into confrontation and years prior, and it was kind of like the Hatfields and McCoys, but without the gun firing. Something like that I was told about. Like I said, I don't really remember the details, so what I just got done saying is a pure guess. So don't let anybody hold me to that, because it's just speculation I just did. I don't remember the real story. I just know that there is one. So anyway, Tony and I pull up to one of the front of the houses, I think the main house, which was Grandma Waltman's house, because there was a few different houses on that property. Honestly, I don't remember how many, maybe 3. I remember 3. If there was more than that I don't remember. I only went into the main house where Grandma Waltman was at. But anyway, we pulled along, and I think there was like a wooden gate fence, not gate, but like fence going across, like to separate from like where the dirt road was where we pulled up at. I think there was. I wish I had a picture of it. I didn't take a picture of that. So we pull up, and here comes 3 people walking, and I said to Tony, there was people on the property up towards the house, standing around talking. At this moment, I didn't know who they were. Back of my neck hurts. But then again, it's morning and it's overcast, and my neck always hurts. And a slip disc from an accident when I lived in Iowa several years into the future from when this memory took place. Anyway, so we pull up, and I see 3 people walking. I asked Tony, who is that? He goes, well, that's Dad in the center, and Aunt Marie and Uncle Tom. I'm like, oh, okay. So I wanted to know who to address, who they were, but I knew Dad. And so I get out, I'm the first one out of the car, and I walk up to greet who became my father-in-law. And said, hi, Dad, how are you? Grabbed a hold of me, gave me a big hug and a kiss. And Aunt Marie was to his left, and she was to my right. Uncle Tom was to my left, which would have been to my father-in-law's right. And they had said, I said, hi, I'm Teresa, Tony's girlfriend. And Aunt Marie looked at me, and she was smiling. She was like, hello, darling, she said. And she went to give me a hug, and I said, hang on a minute, please. And I greeted Uncle Tom and gave him a big hug and a kiss, and he goes to my father-in-law, he says, you're right, she's a good hugger. And I go, what? And Uncle Tom, he goes, yeah, he goes, Ollie had already told us all about you. And I'm like, what did you say about me? And they go, don't worry, it was all good, Aunt Marie had said. And so she comes towards me to Uncle Tom to put out her arms, and I gave her a hug and a kiss, and I said, hi, Aunt Marie. I said, I'm Teresa. And she says, I'm taking her right now. And she took me by the hand and walks me towards the house. The house was to my right. I don't remember very much about the house. I was only in there the one time, well, twice actually. I was in there twice because I came back to the house. I had got sick and started my period, and I had come back to the house. Aunt Marie and I forget who else drove me over there. Aunt Marie had put me to bed, and I forget who stayed there. I asked her to stay, don't leave me. I remember saying that. I don't remember if she did or not, but she put me to bed, and this is sometime after I arrived. I had started my period, and I had cramps really bad, and she didn't want me laying inside our tent on the ground, and she said you would be more comfortable in bed, and she said it's okay, don't be afraid, and took me to the house, had me go into the bedrooms that she told me she stayed in when she came to stay at Grandma Waltman's house. Gave me some pills to make me feel better, to make the cramps go away, and to relax me. I remember sleeping for a couple of hours, and of course this is out of sync. And I got up, I know, once to get sick, because I would get sick. I believe Aunt Marie was still there when that happened, and came and checked on me, asked me how I felt my forehead, gave me a hug. They had a heating pad, and gave me a heating pad to put on because I was cramping really bad. And I slept some more. And then after, I don't know, a couple of hours, I had felt better and got up and came out into the living room. And I don't remember who was in the living room. But I did feel better. And I don't remember who it was that was there. It could have been Aunt Marie still there. I don't remember. And drove me back to the campground. But so anyway, when Aunt Marie took me by the hand and we started walking into the house, I was stopped, or we were stopped by Uncle Wayne. And it's like, who is this? This is Teresa. This is Tony's girlfriend, she had said. And I said, hi, I'm Teresa. And she said, this is my brother Wayne. I said, hi, Uncle Wayne, I'm Teresa. I gave him a hug and a kiss. And he's like, yeah, he goes, you're a good hugger. And so, she's, and somebody else wanted to talk to me. I don't remember who. And Aunt Marie just like, I'm taking her inside to meet Mom. And, she took me inside the house. I remember it being not a large house. It was modest. I don't remember what it looked like at all. I wasn't interested in what was in there or what it looked like or to be able to describe it. I kind of wish I could, but it wasn't important to me. And it was just important to me to meet everybody is what was my importance. So Grandma Waltman was in the kitchen and she was cooking something. I have no idea what it was. And Aunt Marie walked me up to Grandma Waltman and said, Mom, this is, I think she said Mom. And she could have said Mama, I don't know, something like that. And she said, this is Teresa. This is your granddaughter, your new granddaughter. And Grandma Waltman stopped what she was doing. She turned and looked at me. She was, my granddaughter. I said, hi, Grandma, I'm Teresa. And honestly, generally, I didn't call anybody else grandmother or grandma, referred to them as grandma. My grandmother was in Long Beach, who I referred to grandma. She was my mom's mother. Because I didn't know my dad's mother. I knew of her, but I never saw her except when I was a tiny kid and I didn't have much of a memory of her. I saw her years later when I was 27, 28 years old, when her second husband passed away, and I never even said grandma to her. Never did. Called her Margaret. Because that's who she was to me. She was not a grandmother. But this was different. To me, it felt different. Calling the Waltmans aunt and uncle by their name actually was natural. It just came out natural. For me to say hi, Grandma, to Grandma Waltman, honestly, it was a natural reaction. It's like as if she was my grandmother. Um, and I think maybe that's why I felt an instant closeness to everybody right away, because it was like a connection with certain members of the family. My father-in-law, Ollie, my Aunt Marie, and Uncle Tom. I had like an instant connection with them, especially Aunt Marie. There was like this instant bond. When I looked at her for the first time, when I stepped on that property, there was like, I don't know, like a sparkle, I could feel it inside me that there was something there that drew me to her. And a couple years later, in 1986, she had told me the same thing with her towards me. So Grandma Waltman gave me a hug and a kiss, and she's like, well, hi, it's nice to meet you. And when did you become my granddaughter? And I believe that, see, these, in my opinion, just my opinion and observation of, and stuff that was mentioned in passing, they were always loving and kind and warm towards me, always, 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 always. And someone had told me that, they didn't generally do stuff like that where they referred to you as, like, say, I was a granddaughter, like, right away. So that was pretty cool. And I looked at Aunt Marie and I said, we're not even married. We're boyfriend and girlfriend. We're not even engaged. And Aunt Marie said, no, you will marry Tony. And I'm like, oh, you know something that I don't? And she said, I know these things. And I'm like, well, I hope you're right, I says, but, like I said, we're not even engaged. We're just boyfriend and girlfriend. And she's like, well, how long have you known each other? I said, well, I actually met Tony when I was 16, when I came into the Denny's that he worked at. And then I would go in there for about a year, and then I stopped going, and then I just recently started going in there when I was 18, which was a year prior. And then, I told her the story later. But she's like, she just looked at me and she smiled. She was just smiling and gleaming. And she says, no, she goes, you're my niece. And you're going to be my niece. And I said, well, what if I don't marrying Tony? Then I'm not going to be your niece. She goes, no, you're my niece. Period. Okay. Okay. So I have an aunt. And she had stood there with, I was there for a few minutes. I don't know how many minutes passed. It was a few. All right. Okay. Turn that off because I don't want ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling happening while I'm recording. And she had told me, there's one thing that you need to remember. And I'm like, what's that? And she gave me the Waltman ground rules. Really wasn't a rule, but this is what she had told me. That in this family, there's a right way. Because I said something to Grandma Waltman about something, and I really don't remember what it was. It wasn't disrespectful. But I said something, and I guess it kind of sounded sassy. And I didn't mean for it to sound sassy. And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember what it was. And I said something to Aunt Marie that she thought was kind of sassy. And she said, there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's the Waltman way. And she didn't smile, but she didn't frown. She just kind of like looked at me like a certain way. And I said, okay. I said, now I'm going to tell you. There might be a right, and I always have said this, there might be a right way, a wrong way, a Waltman way, but there's also my way. And Grandma Waltman goes, are you sure about that? Yes. And I didn't like say yes ma'am or anything like that, because that was not in my vocabulary yet. It became my vocabulary when I responded later. And Aunt Marie looked at me. She didn't look at me cross. She kind of smirked a little bit, and she said, I love you already. She said, you have some sass in you. And yes. And she said, remember one thing, don't ever sass me, and we'll get along just fine. Okay, I won't ever sass you. You promise? I'll try and promise. Then that's all I can ask of you. Okay. And it's actually kind of funny. Well, it is funny because I love that, because she says, you have some sass in you. I knew what that meant. It's a term that I never used. Smartass is what it means, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what sassy means. And so I'm going to stop there for a moment, and I will be back.